Hello dear students, in the last class we had discussed the application of Gauss law and we had determined the electric flux density due to the point charge, due to the infinite line charge and infinite seat of charge. Okay, now today we shall continue this topic and today we will discuss for the uniformly charged sphere. Okay, so today the application of Gauss law we will discuss for the uniformly charged sphere. Okay, so for the point line or seat charge we have already discussed. Now today we shall discuss the uniformly charged sphere. Okay, so in that case let us consider a sphere with radius a and a uniform charge density rho 0 coulomb per meter cube. Now to determine the d is what? D is the electric flux density. We construct a Gaussian surface. Okay, so to apply the Gauss theorem, in the earlier classes I have already discussed that you need to assume a Gaussian surface which will enclose that charged part. Okay, whether it is a point charge, line charge, sheet charge or a sphere. Okay, so you need to cover it through a Gaussian surface. Okay, so let us consider that we have this charged sphere. Okay, now this charged sphere have the radius a. Okay, the radius of this charged sphere is a. Okay, this is a charged sphere and the radius is a. Fine. Now we will assume a Gaussian surface. Okay, so Gaussian surface can be assumed in two ways. Now what are the ways? It means the radius of the Gaussian surface will be lesser than this radius of this sphere. That means the Gaussian surface will be inside this sphere and the radius will be what? More than this sphere, and in that case it will be enclosing the whole sphere. Okay, so let us assume a Gaussian surface which is like this. Okay, so this surface, let's say the radius is small r. Okay, now this can be one case. Okay, now the another case can be how the another case can be. In the another case we can have this sphere, okay, with the same radius a, and in this case we will have the Gaussian surface like this, and in this case this Gaussian surface is going to enclose this uniformly charged sphere, and let us assume that this is the r. So these both are the these are the Gaussian surface, but in one case it is inside the sphere and in the another case it is outside the sphere. Okay, so what is the condition here? Since this r is here, this the what is r? R is the radius of the Gaussian surface, and this r is less than this a, and here the r is greater than a. Okay, so these are the two conditions. Fine. Okay, and let the uniform charge density of this uniformly charged sphere is rho 0 coulomb per meter cube. This is the charge density. Okay, now to determine the D, we have already assumed the surface. Fine. Now let us proceed. So for R less than equal to A, means for which case we are talking about? We are talking about the first case, that is this one. Okay, so R less than A, the total charge enclosed by the spherical surface is given by the total charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface of radius R. Okay, so since we know that we have assumed this Gaussian surface with radius R, so the total charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface in this first case will be how much? So we know the Gauss theorem, so it is Gauss law, charge enclosed, QNENC means charge enclosed equals to, this is the volume integral of this charge density, and in this case what is rho v? In this case we have this rho 0. Okay, so we will take it out, in place of rho v we can put rho 0, take it out, and this volume integral. Okay, now which kind of volume it is? It is the spherical volume. Okay, so for a sphere, if you remember the differential volume elements, so in case of the spherical coordinate system, what is the dV? Okay, in case of this spherical coordinate system, if you remember, dV equal to how much? dV equal to this r square sine theta dr d theta and d phi. Okay, so this is the dV. So if we put it here, then it will be how much? So here, since it is a volume integral, and volume integral with respect to C, dr, d theta and d phi. Okay, so there are triple integral. Okay, so we will have to perform the triple integration here. So rho 0, and we have the three integrations. Okay, and in place of dv we can write r square sine theta dr d theta and d phi. Okay, now we'll put the limits. So phi varies from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, this theta varies from theta varies from 0 to pi. And what is the limit of r? This r will vary from 0 to the radius r, because we are integrating for the radius r. Okay, so there are the three limits. Fine. Now if we solve it, if we solve this whole integration, so even you remember also that what is the volume, what is the formula of volume for a sphere of radius r? So it is 4 by 3 radius cube. So in that case, if you will solve this integral, then also you will get the same thing. So I am writing directly. So it is equal to, this is rho 0, and your volume is 4 by 3 pi r cube. And if you solve this triple integral, you will get the same thing. Since we know this formula, the volume of a sphere with radius r is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Okay. Now remember the Gauss law. What is the statement of Gauss law? That is the flux psi equal to d dot ds. Okay, this is the surface integral, closed surface integral. So in this case, in the case of a sphere, we write it dr, and the surface would be ds. Okay, Now what is the ds? Again you remember the differential surface element for a spherical coordinate system. Now it is sphere, so we will have the double integral. Okay, so this phi equals to 0 to 2 pi and theta equals to 0 to pi. Okay, and this is r square sine theta d theta and d phi. Okay, this is the case. So now again we know the surface area. If you will solve this double integral, obviously what it will give you. So through solving this double integral, we will obtain the surface area. So what is the formula for surface area of a sphere with radius r? It is 4 pi r square. So we can write it. Even if you solve this double integral, this is the thing what I am saying ki how you can get that formula. But since we know that, so we can write it 4 pi r square. Okay, so this is dr into 4 pi r square. Okay, now using Gauss law, using Gauss law, we can say that this psi electric flux equal to the charge enclosed. So in that case, what is the value of this psi? This psi is dr into 4 pi r square, and what is the value of q enclosed? We have determined rho 0 into 4 by 3 pi r cube. So in that case we can equate them. So it is dr into this 4 pi r square equals to charge enclosed. So for the charge enclosed it was 4 by 3 pi r cube into rho 0. Okay, so now if we will solve it, so this d equals to, so this d electric flux density equals to how much? So some terms will be cancelled out. This 4 will got cancelled. Okay, this pi can be cancelled. The two powers of r will be cancelled. So dr equals to, we are left with this r upon 3 rho 0, and the direction will be along this r, so ar. And for which case we have determined the value of electric flux density? When, for the first case, when your radius of Gaussian surface, that is r, is between 0 to a, means the Gaussian surface is lying inside the charged sphere. Okay, now for the second case we will derive. So for the second case, that is, so for the second case, that is, for r greater than or equal to a, what will happen? The charge enclosed by the surface, means we are talking of the entire volume, entire charge in this case. Okay, so enclosed by the surface, and which surface we are talking about? Let me go back, this one. Okay, so let me copy this. So we are talking about this case. Okay, r is greater than or equal to a. Okay, so for this case we can see that this Gaussian surface, this is the Gaussian surface this Gaussian surface is enclosing or covering it as a whole. So this whole charged sphere is being covered by this Gaussian surface in this case. Okay, so the total charge enclosed will be, for this charge enclosed by the surface will be, in the same way we will proceed as we proceed for the earlier case. So Q enclosed will be this volume integral rho v dv. Okay, now this is your rho 0 we will take out, so this is dv. Now again this rho 0, and this is going to be the triple integral of this r square sine theta dr d theta and d phi, and this phi equals to 0 to 2 pi, this theta equals to 0 to pi, and this r equals to 0 to, and this time it is not equal to 0 to r, it is equal to 0 to a. Why? Because now the radius is a, because this uniformly charged sphere is covered as a whole. Okay, so this a radius will come here. Okay, so in this case what will be the volume? Okay, with this triple integral basically we are calculating the volume. So what will be the volume? So since the radius is now a, so the volume will be rho 0 into 4 by 3 pi a cube. Okay, so this one is the charge enclosed by this surface. Okay, now so what is psi? So psi equals to, this is d dot ds, that is surface integral of this electric flux density, and it can be calculated as dr into this 4 pi r square. Okay, now why it is r square? Because here it is the surface. Okay, so surface, the radius of this surface is, Gaussian surface is r. Okay, so using Gauss law we will again equate the two terms using Gauss law. So we will equate these two terms, that is q enclosed equal to psi, or psi equal to q enclosed. Okay, so in that case if we write this psi equals to q enclosed, so what is psi? Psi we have calculated, and this one is dr into 4 pi r square. And what is q enclosed? Q enclosed is your 4 by 3 pi a cube into this rho 0. Okay, so in this some terms will got cancelled, this 4 pi and this 4 pi they are cancelled. Okay, so what is dr? So dr, so the dr will be a cube upon 3r square rho 0, and the direction would be here. And for which case we have determined the electric flux density? This is the case of this, when the Gaussian surface, the radius of Gaussian surface is more than the radius of uniformly charged sphere, that is r is greater than or equal to a. Okay, so for this case we have calculated the value dr. Fine, so we have now calculated for both the surfaces, for both the Gaussian surfaces, that is when it is the Gaussian surface is inside the charged sphere, and when the Gaussian surface is enclosing this uniformly charged sphere. So for the two cases we have determined. Okay, now let's see the characteristics, okay, between d and r. So for that let me write or recall these two formulas at one place. Okay, Okay, so we have the two relations here. Dr equals to aq upon 3r square rho 0 ar when r is greater than or equal to a, and dr equals to r upon 3 rho 0 ar when r is between 0 to a. That means r is less than a. So it is the inside case and this is the outside case. Okay, now let me draw the two let me draw the two means through this I want to show you the graph between this this d and this r. Okay, so you can see that this one is the r equals to a point. Okay, let's say this one is the r equals to a point. So if the r is less than a, so which region will be representing r is less than a? This region will be representing r is less than a, and this one will be representing r is greater than a. Okay, so in this case, if we see for this r less than or equal to a, or less than a we can say, for equal to a we have already written, so it is less than a. So this, in this region you can see this dr is directly proportional to r. So for direct proportionality, which kind of graph do we use? For direct proportionality we do have the straight line, so it is like this. Okay, so this line represents the this relation when r is less than a, r upon 3 rho 0. So it is dr is, since this d is directly proportional to r, so we can represent it by this straight line for the region r less than a. Okay, it is clear. So which relation is being represented here? This one. That means this r rho 0 upon 3. Okay, this is, and from here for r greater than a, if we see this relation, then this dr is inversely proportional to the square of this r square, is it no? So in this case dr is inversely proportional to the r square, so the graph will be slightly curved and it will be decreasing like this. Let me draw it. So it is like this. Okay, so this portion is representing r greater than a, and the graph, why the graph is this, the nature of graph is this, because this, in this region r greater than a, dr is inversely proportional to what? R square, the square of r. So this particular will be representing this a cube rho 0 upon 3r square. Fine. So this is all about the application of Gauss law. Okay, now what is electric potential? Now the next topic is electric potential. Okay, so what is electric potential? So in the earlier classes you might have studied this electric potential. So let's start from the work done, that is work done in displacing a charge q by dl. So if we write the work done in displacing the charge q by dl length. Okay, so if, so we know that dw is equals to what? It is minus of f dot dl. So in electric field, if we talk about the electric field, what is the relation between F and E? E equals to F by Q. So since we know that E equals to F by Q, so F equals to what? F equals to QE. So we can replace this F or force by QE. So it is what? Minus QE dot dl. Okay. Now the negative sign indicates that work is being done by external agent. Okay. Why this negative sign is there? It is representing that the work is being done by an external agent. That's why there is negative sign. Now the total work done or the potential energy required in moving charge Q from A to B. Okay. So total work done or the potential energy, total work done or potential energy required in moving the charge Q, okay, from point A to B. Okay, so what will be the total work done or potential energy required in moving this charge Q from point A to B? So simply this dW value we will integrate, then we will get the total work done. Okay, so this W equals to this minus Q we can take out, and this E dot dl, and the integration from A to B. Okay, fine. Now what is the potential difference? Potential difference, the potential difference between the points A and B is, so what is the potential difference? This VAB equals to, we know that it is W by Q, so work done upon charge, and in this case if we represent it W by Q, then we will be left with this E dot dl from A to B. So in this way we can represent the electric potential. Okay, so in determining this VAB, what is A? A is the initial point and B is the final point. Okay, now another property is that VAB is independent of the path taken. Okay, it has nothing, it depends on the initial and final position only, it has nothing to do with the path. Okay, and VAB is measured in joules per coulomb. Okay, the unit is joules per coulomb, or you can say it is measured in volts. Okay, fine.